is possible is that we will see a downturn in the temperatures coming up here within the next several days. Unfortunately, the bad news is that we have also the possibility of some very hot conditions for at least the first part of the week. So we are going to continue to see that across much of the area through Tuesday and probably Wednesday too, right about to just above normal, somewhere in there. And then we also see, again, the potential for, we're not out of summer yet. We just got going. We are just now within the first month of summer, and we are going to have to kind of hang on here because there's going to be some times that we could see some pretty steamy conditions. We've had at least, I believe, 2, maybe 3 weather situations where we have seen, again, the possibility of temperatures going at to over 100 degrees in the last month at least. So we will see, again, the possibility of more potential out there, problems. This is summertime in the deep south after all. So for right now, again, this is something that we really do have to pay attention to. So please keep it advised here, and we'll let you know a little bit more about what's coming up here in the course of the next couple of days. But for right now, again, we're looking for that possibility to be a real issue through the next several days and weeks. So keep it tuned to News 12 again for more on that. Let's go ahead and get going. Apparently I'm netcasting on my own channel, and instead of stopping that to get back on the station's channel, I'll just have to reblog coming up here in just a little bit. If you would and you'd like to check out, see if I'm pointing in the right direction here, down at the lower left-hand corner of your screen, our 7-day forecast, which you can get, again, at our website, wdef.com/weather. That'll keep you updated as to what's going on, but that'll give you a preview as to what we're going to be talking about here for tonight, so stay tuned for more on that. This is our online video weather blog. If you'd like to ask questions, if you're on Twitch or YouTube, please chime in on the information that you get, and we'll bring you more details and hopefully get to answer your question to find out more about what is going on at this point. So stay tuned for more on that. This is, again, from southeast Tennessee and the area of North Georgia, northeastern Alabama, and into and around the area of western North Carolina. We did have some thunderstorms earlier. Now all we have left over is just some scattered showers taking place. North central Georgia, excuse me, Fannin, Gilmer, and some of Murray County picking up a few spotty showers at this time. I'm going to go a little farther afield. What's left of the thunderstorms, the bigger the lightning bolt, the more power that bolt is putting out. And that's what we were seeing down around the Alabama-Georgia line. Now there's really just not that much left. These thunderstorms from earlier are basically just kind of turning into minor thunderstorms and some scattered showers left over, drifting as they have been. There's really not much of anything driving these things forward, and we'll show you more about that coming up here in just a little bit. But again, this is the News 12 viewing area: southeast Tennessee, northeast Alabama, north central Georgia, and Cherokee County in extreme western North Carolina. So that's where you'll find our broadcast signal there and our coverages as well. 98 the high, within 5 of a record high temperature, 78 the low. Record low temperature, when you see low temperatures in the 50s, record low temperatures in the 50s, you know that you are in the thick of summertime. Officially no rainfall today, and that puts us at nearly 2.5 inches behind for the month of July, and almost coming up in a couple of days, that'll be 6 inches, half a foot behind on rainfall for the year. So we are desperately dry. We need some more help on that. The drought situation is increasing, and so is the wildfire danger, and we'll talk more about that coming up here in the next couple of days. I did not have a chance to get things organized for tonight. Chattanooga Theater Center downtown from the North Shore, looking across the Tennessee River back over to around the downtown area. Lookouts not in town tonight. They'll be back next week. This view from the Speedy's Total Car Care camera on the Chattanooga Theater Center brought to you by the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam Network. So thanks to everybody for checking in and being our sponsor at this point in time. Southerly winds at about 7 miles per hour, but with that humidity at about 55%, we've got a heat index of about 93 degrees. That's what it feels like out there, and that is pretty sultry even well after the sun has gone down. There's just not a lot of comfort out there for tonight, nor are we really expecting too much. Right before 10 o'clock, temperatures in the 70s and 80s. That's just the air temperature. Again, you combine these temperatures with the humidity, the dew point temperatures, you get that feels like index, and this is what it feels like out there. Heat index at the airport at 91. Also, that's what it feels like in Scottsboro. A little bit better on the heat index elsewhere that picked up more clouds and more rain, and also a little bit less going on in the way of heat in the higher elevations here that was very truly oppressive. We are going to continue to see a hot day coming up tomorrow. 80s, even 90s around Greenville, Mississippi. Just some very putrid conditions out there with some of that heat just lingering around and not really helping anybody. Through the rest of tonight, we're just not going to be seeing too much of anything really helping out in the way of quote-unquote cooler temperatures. Low temperatures barely into the mid-70s throughout the next several hours, and then right back up again as we go into tomorrow, heading through the mid-80s by about 10 o'clock in the morning. So heating things back up again and looking at some pretty ugly conditions for another day coming up. So what exactly is causing all this? We've got high pressure sitting basically just right over the top of us, doing a good job of keeping things very calm and stable, but yet we did manage to pick up a decent amount of showers and thunderstorms. That's because even under an area of high pressure, you can get some areas of showers and thunderstorms to pop up and develop and grow. The thing is that happening right underneath this high pressure area, these storms are not pushed anywhere by any large scale storm systems because, well, we just don't have any, and probably not going to be seeing too many of those anytime soon. So for right now, what we're looking at is that high pressure area continuing to stick around. High pressure to our south, escorting in some warm, moist air. Our next cold front on the way, which will be settling in toward about the middle to end of the week. That'll increase our chances of showers and thunderstorms, and that in turn brings us to our first bit of good news that we have had in quite some time. Those extra amounts of clouds and showers and thunderstorms will block out some of the sunshine, and that will give us a little bit less in the way of anything boiling the atmosphere, and that will help to keep things a little bit less hot. Please notice again that I did not say the word cooler because we're just really not expecting that anytime soon. Now, we do not have anything in the way of heat advisories, but we have plenty of them well back to our west. Huntsville, Decatur, Columbia, Murfreesboro, Nashville, all the way up to Gallatin and Clarksville, seeing more potential of heat out there. Now, as we go throughout from here all the way out to the west, the Mid-South is picking up the heaviest activity here in the form of heat. That magenta area is a excessive heat warning. You can see them from the tri-state area around New York all the way down to around Norfolk and the Outer Banks of areas of North Carolina. That is the hottest of the hot. The orange counties, heat index of 105 plus. The magenta shaded counties, excessive heat warning 105 to 110 plus on the heat index scale. Now, will we see anything like that around here? Doesn't look like it for right now, but of course, naturally, that could possibly change. Now, remember, I talked about all those chances of showers and thunderstorms coming on through. Take a look at this. This is some of the best news that we have had in the last 6 weeks, where we have had nothing but above normal temperatures. Looking at the menu up at the top right-hand corner under the EPB logo, we are now seeing, if it all works, and I'm hoping it will, again, sometimes you get a little iffy on these forecasts, but right through here, this is where we may see a downturn in the temperatures. Instead of an above normal chance of excessively hot weather, we start to go below normal on that. So we should be aiming for the lower 90s and underneath that. That's the way it looks for right now. Again, patterns can change and shift, so this may be a bit of an issue out there that we may see changes taking place for the worse, but it looks like most of the activity well back to our west in the Rockies. Western third of the United States could be broiling for the next several weeks the way it's looking for right now, so that could be just a bit of a problem. The 30-day outlook is giving us little if any hope for any good cool down all the way over toward the western third, Denver, Cheyenne, back up toward Billings, Albuquerque, Salt Lake City. That is where we continue to see the potential for more heat building and staying in that area. Again, that's the medium range 30-day forecast from the Climate Prediction Center. We are seeing an increase again for the next 30 days. That period, yes, it will be getting or staying on the hotter side. Keep in mind that this is issued about every 30 days or so, so this may change a little bit. This is fairly old information. The update for late July, early August should be coming up here within the course of the next several days and weeks. But for right now, things are looking a little bit better, and we'll take that good news on that to really help us out by turning the temperatures down by just a little bit. So that will really kind of help us out in the short term. Whether or not the long term it stays that way, we'll really have to kind of wait and see on that. Not too many folks out and about. I think I'm looking back to the north here on the Island Cove Marina and Resort camera to where we saw a lot of thunderheads off in the distance. A little bit of lights coming in from Tennessee 58 over there on that side of the roadway. We continue to see the potential for more showers and thunderstorms over the next several days. That is good news. It's not so good news for outdoor activities. We got Vacation Bible School coming up. We're coming up on 2 days for school athletic practices, marching band practice not too far away, and that can be very brutal even with temperatures in the high 80s and decent amount of humidity. So as we get closer and closer to those periods of time, it's going to be more important than ever to pay attention to who is going to be able to, again, be out and about in weather like this. Not only do you have the heat and humidity to deal with, but you also have these outdoor activities of plenty of lightning going on, and that is something that, again, we really need to watch for anything going on outdoors in the next several days. So please keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll keep you advised on all of that coming up here as we go throughout the next few days onwards. All right, so going from the southeastern United States down to the south and east, we have a disturbance out in the Pacific, well to the southwest of Baja, well several thousand miles to the west of Central America. So this making its way to the northwest, looks like it's heading out into open ocean, and if it stays there, it looks like it could be what is referred to as a quote-unquote fish storm, which means it's bothering no one but the fish. Is this going to be a threat to the Hawaiian Islands? A little too early to tell at this point, but we will be keeping a very close eye on that. Meanwhile, back into the Atlantic and the Gulf, we are not seeing anything in the way of anything really popping up. So good news from the Hurricane Center. High pressure helping out a little bit here, but also what is helping out in this area is the fact that we have tons of dust coming in from off of the area of the Sahara. This is a normal event, happens every single year. The conveyor belt of dust and sand aloft makes its way across the ocean toward the areas of the Bahamas, South America, Central America, and as you can see, this latest plume is going to be a pretty thick one, so that also is good stuff for the Amazon rainforest. It's good fertilizer, helps to stabilize the soils, and also helps to enrich them a little bit. Now this dust is going to be acting again as a sunlight barrier, so any storms that try to form out here, they might get going, but if they're surrounded by dry, dusty, stable air, that's not going to help them develop. Could this make its way all the way up our direction so we see some kind of gritty skies? Yes, that is possible. Likely, doesn't look like it according to this model. They kind of curve back around up the East Coast and then back out into the Atlantic. The upshot of this is it means we do not have anything starting anytime soon in the way of storms. So very good news on that. What we also see is, again, calm conditions for now, and hopefully, again, it stays that way. This dust could really help us out. Unfortunately, we've got other problems in the fact that we have a very warm ocean surface. Anything above 80 degrees is rocket fuel for any storms that happen to come through. It's called RI, rapid intensification, and if any storm forms over any part of this area, it can get extra power from that water vapor from that very warm ocean water from the Bay of Campeche all the way out into the Atlantic. This is looking, again, temperatures in the mid to high 80s between Florida, the Bahamas, and Cuba, and even a few mid 80s showing up right along the coastline, mid to upper 80s. That the hotter it gets, the more energy the ocean can release and give to these storms. Now, way farther up to the north, you notice again the cooler weather shaping up as the colder water moves in, as the Gulf Stream moves out. The circulation pattern changes things up. But temperatures of 50s and 60s are not great for hurricane sustenance, to sustain them or to develop them. So what we do have is a good opportunity for development here across much of this area south and east of the United States, which means that anything that comes traipsing in from the west, anything that develops over the Bay of Campeche, the southern Caribbean, and the Bahamas could get going in a very quick style. You might remember Otis last year went from a tropical storm to a hurricane, a Category 5 hurricane in 9 hours, and that directly hit Acapulco. So that is something we could be looking at happening again into the area of the southeastern areas, southeast of the United States. So that is something that we really are going to have to monitor to see what goes on. But for right now, nothing is developing. Here's hoping it stays that way. We'll keep you updated on that. Again, so stay tuned for more. All right, let's take a look at a very pastoral scene. Thank you very much, News 12 viewer Debbie Pendley from Chickamauga, Georgia. You got fog on the pond. You got sunlight, blue skies through the trees, dappling the water a little bit there. A beautiful shot. That's our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. Thank you very much, Ms. Pendley, for sending that in. If you've got pictures, we'd love to see them and show them. You can email them to us. You can drop them to our social media pages. Again, with, if you would be so kind, a description and a location to let us know what you were looking at and what was so neat about it. And you can also go to our website, wdef.com/photos, for more on that. All right, from NOAAclimate.gov. If you've never been there before, a great website to find out more about how our climate is changing and how we as humans are doing the bulk of that. Today's question: the United States has sustained since 1980 387 weather and climate disasters, and some of those are billion-dollar disasters. So the total cost of all of those, 100 million, 1.5 billion, 2.74 trillion, or 1.5 quadrillion dollars. 78% of you said 2.74 trillion, and that is the correct answer. So that's a lot of money that gets caused damage-wise by, again, anything in the way of climate or weather disasters. So there's a lot out there that can happen, and a lot what we need to prepare for and understand about our climate. NOAA does a very good job of studying that, including about climate change. And if you would like to know, thank you very much, Friend in Roofing, for being our weather poll sponsor of the day. Really do appreciate that. Thanks to all of our sponsors for doing some favors and helping out on various things. Love to have you as advertisers and sponsors. So again, thank you very much. If you'd like to vote in our next poll, wdef.com/vote now. That's our friendinroofing.com poll of the day. You can use the QR code to vote as well. New poll goes up at midnight if you'd like to check out more there. Speaking more about NOAA, the branch of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, there have been some calls lately for the potential of, of doing away with NOAA partially because some people say they just waste our money. Some people say they don't want it, it doesn't do any good. Some people because they want to privatize the National Weather Service, essentially making you pay twice for a forecast that you already pay for with your tax dollars. Where these ideas come from, I don't know. But what I do know is that NOAA is a great bargain. My tax dollars, your tax dollars help pay for NOAA. And if you'd like to see more about what NOAA does under the Department of Commerce and more about what they do with the National Weather Service, the National Weather Service in Morristown, Tennessee, which covers part of the News 12 viewing area, would like to invite you to an open house. And a lot of National Weather Services don't do that this often. They teach Skywarn classes. They may have a meeting for emergency managers, law enforcement agencies, local media outlets, things like that. But the open house, public house, is very much on the rare side. So if you have the opportunity to see this, to be able to go meet the meteorologists and personnel and specialists on staff, ask them questions, watch them do a weather balloon launch, ask them about budgets and about where the money goes to. If you'd like to know more about that, it's a good opportunity to learn more. And this is coming up in Morristown, Tennessee. We are covered by 4 National Weather Service offices here: Nashville, Huntsville, Peachtree City, Georgia, and National Weather Service Morristown. That is what covers the the News 12 viewing area, so that we can get the warnings and the watches out to you. This is a stellar opportunity to be able to look at what goes on with the National Weather Service offices. If you'd like to attend, September 28th, I believe that's a Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Great opportunity to learn more about what's going on with weather. Good opportunity to ask questions, to be curious, to find out more about science. This, again, if you have questions and you say that NOAA is no good, what proof do you have of that? And I don't mean your opinion, I mean hard, solid proof. If you'd like to be able to ask questions and find out more about what NOAA does with the National Weather Service under the Department of Commerce, find out more, attend the open house, be curious, ask questions, and you might just find your mind changed about a number of different topics. Again, just sitting there saying they promote climate change, that's a lie. That is complete and total utter fabrication. They do not promote climate change. They talk about it. NOAA studies National Weather Service and climate change and finds out more about what is going on. If we want to be able to predict better hurricanes, if we want our shipping channels to stay safe, if we want to understand what climate change is doing, and climate change is happening. Just because you get rid of a government agency that says 2 words that you really, really don't like, that is very short-sighted and not the way to go about things. So this is your opportunity as members of the public to attend and ask questions and find out more about what NOAA is all about, and the National Weather Service as well. So please consider attending. I might go myself. They invited. I'd love to stop by and film a few things and to see what they're saying on stuff like that, and to get inside the National Weather Service. I haven't been in one since Memphis, so it'd be nice to be able to go back and take a look around and see what people are saying. So if you'd like to be able to see this, find out more at this website. This is the National Weather Service Morristown at weather.gov/MRX. That is the 3-letter identifier for the National Weather Service in Morristown. Or go to our website. It's on our forecast page at wdef.com/weather. I think that should just about do it. We've been on here for a little longer than I thought, so that's nice to be able to see that. No questions from the audience tonight, so things really very much on the quiet side for now. So again, for Monday night, I think we've pretty well covered all the topics, and everything is where it needs to be. For the time being, I will be back on at News 12 at 11, and of course Andrew Harrison's got the news. Rick Nyman's back from his tour of Kansas. Sounds like Lawrence is exactly where I left it. Glad to see everything's fine back that direction, with Rick visiting Kansas City and Lawrence, Kansas, one of the best places on earth if you've ever been there. No bragging whatsoever. We'll have more on our replay. Again, if you want to watch this at any point in time, you can watch it on our website at wdef.com/weather. This is the place for Weather Overtime. You can also find out more about what's going on through our app. If you don't have the opportunity to download it already, please do so, because you can watch Weather Overtime whenever you want to. It's on the app, and this will show up on that app very easily. You can watch our live stream with what we're showing there. And again, I am on all these social media pages, including on chess.com and lichess.org if you'd like to step by for a match at some point. I'm no grandmaster, but I do know my way around a chessboard, so that would be very cool for you to stop by and take a look there. All right, more coming up at 11. Chip Chapman's got your forecast bright and early tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for that. Live and direct, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onek. Thank you very much for joining us either live or on the repeat of Weather Overtime for Monday the 15th. We are just halfway through the month. Still a lot of steam heat to go out there. Please use caution, and remember, please, to put back that water that your body sweats away. I keep this 40 ounces filled at all time in case I have a tendency to get thirsty. Stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online, and we'll see you again coming up on Tuesday. Thanks for joining us.